listening as listening international English language testing system listening covers 40 minutes and 40 questions, 40 minutes. Uh, there are three audios, and from the three audios, you will have 40 questions and 40 minutes. So, number of sections, four sections. So, there will be four sections in uh, okay, wait a minute. For 40 marks. And types of questions is like, in us listening, there are types of questions is like MCQ, filling the blanks, matching, these types of questions. Okay. Time for these 40 marks and four sections, there will be 40 minutes, 3 minutes for the audio and 10 minutes for transferring your answer. Transferring your answer in a sense that IELTS, there are two types of IELTS, paper-based and computer-based. So in paper-based IELTS, you will have 30 minutes to answer the 40 questions, 40 questions in four sections, and 10 minutes to answer your transfer your answer to the answer sheet. So there will be another answer sheet. You have to transfer all your 40 answer to the answer sheet in 40 minutes. But in the computer-based IELTS, there is no problem with them. So, fourth section, section one, conversation in social context. Conversation in social context. What type of context? Like renting an apartment, talking about a tour, and your day-to-day life, conversation on day-to-day life. It's very easy. Section one is quite easy, and there will be two speakers. So two speakers will be talking on a social context such as renting an apartments, talking about a tour, and this type of conversation. In section two, monologue in a social context. Monologue means one speaker. One speaker will be talking about something in a day-to-day topic, same topic as before, the section one, but there will be one speaker in section two. And section three, it is quite tough. Section three is quite tough because it's a conversation on an academic context. Suppose you are from arts background, but the topic is from science background. So you may feel that it is very problematic, it is very tough, but what you have to remember in the mind that you have to just listen to the audio and answer your question. You don't need to understand the thing. Just answer listen to the audio and answer the question. That's your work, not to dive into the topics, learn everything from the topics. Okay, so part three is quite tough because there will be three or four speakers. So it is quite tough for learners, for the listener to identify who is talking and who is listening. Okay, so it is quite tough. And section four, lecture on topic on academic context, one speaker. And section four will be also on academic context, but there will be one speaker. Okay, so four section, 40 marks for 4 into 10 and 40 questions. So section one, there will be two speaker on a social context. In section two, there will be one speaker on a social context. And section three, conversation in academic context, three or four speaker. It's quite tough. And section four, lecture on talk on his academic context, one speaker. So your work is just to identify, just to listen to the audio and answer your question, nothing else. Okay, so what type of questions there will be in a listening task? Multiple choice question, matching task, form, note, table, flowchart, summary completion. Summary completion means fill in the blanks. So there will be summary of the whole audio. whole part, and you have to fill in the gaps and labeling and diagram, map, plan. So if your listening test is quite tough, there will be a diagram, a map, or a plan. Okay, but most of the time, multiple choice question, matching task, note, form, table, flowchart, summary completions. So let's learn some tips and techniques what you have to follow, because you're listening to the audio, you write the answer, but you don't get any mark. That's not fair, right? Because you have to write it correct in full sense correct. Suppose the answer in the capital letter, you write it in the small letter. So that's wrong in grammar, right? So you have to be correct in every way. And after writing it correctly in every way, you will get a 1 point. So practice with the answer sheet. You have to practice with the answer sheet. So if you're attempting to sit for the IELTS paper based, so you have to practice with the answer sheet, because you answered all the questions in 40 and in 30 minutes, but you don't have practice so much for transferring the whole answer on answer sheet in 10 minutes. So it's quite tough to transfer all the 40 question, 40 answer from one sheet to another in 10 minutes. Okay. So you can hear the audio only once. So there will be no second chance. So you have only one chance to listen to the audio. So you have to be careful. You have to be attentive. So use a pencil. So you can use a pencil. Use a pencil is quite effective, because if you write something wrong, then you can erase it and write it again. So using a pencil is quite effective. So capital letter and small letter. So you can write capital letter and small letter. If you're writing in a small letter, you have to be attentive. You have to be focused. You have to focus on capitalizations. Okay, but in every IELTS trainer in Bangladesh and all over the world, they suggest to write all the things in capital letter. So if you're writing all the things in capital letter, there will be no issues with the capitalization. Got it? Hello.
Yes, sir. Bolen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have to write all the things, all the answer in capital letters. So there will be no issues in capitalizations. Then you can write alternative answer by using slash. So if you think that there is an alternative answer, so you can write by using slash. Do not write more than 3 words. So in every part of the speaking test or listening, every part of the listening test, you will have an instruction how many words you have to write. You have to write 1 word or number, 1 word, and or a number. So you don't need to write more than 3 words, because it's quite tough to cover up the time, cover up the audio while writing more than 3 words. So you don't need to write more than 3 words. So spelling is important. Suppose you heard the audio and heard the correct word for your answer, but you write it in wrong spelling. So you don't get the mark. So don't spelling is important. So stay focused while writing in spelling. So don't write to understand, try to understand everything. So suppose there will be third part and fourth part, there will be topic on academic content. So you don't need to understand everything. If your work, your task is just to listen to the audio and answer the question, nothing else. Okay, keep your eye on the next question. So you should have should have an eye on the next question, because if you miss something, don't bother, don't waste your time to remember, just go to the next question. Okay, if you are bothered with the questions you missed, then you will miss the rest of the part. Okay, so if you are not able to write one answer, don't bother, don't waste your time on that. Just go to the next question with the audio. So tips again, you have to practice with the answer sheet. Okay, you have to use a pencil. You have to write all the things in capital letters. You can use slash. You don't need to write more than 3 words. You have to write all the answers in correct spelling. And if you miss something, don't bother. Don't waste your time on that. Then common challenges. So in listening test, you will face some challenges. Number one is the accent and pronunciations. So our in audio, you will find that their accent and pronunciation is quite different from ours. Okay, so you have to practice more and more to understand their accent, and then pace of speech. So they speak so fast rather than ours. Then multiple speaker, it's quite tough, especially in third part. It's quite tough for the listener to identify who is talking and who is listening. And time is also the challenge because it sometimes you need some more time. Sometimes you need to listen to the audio again, but there is no second chance. And so there's some more challenges: vocabulary, context, note-taking skills, paraphrasing, synonyms, lack of familiarity and accent, stress and nervousness. So be confident that if you are confident, if you are focused, if you are attentive, then you can get over all the challenges. Okay, so don't be nervous. Okay, so I'm recapping all the things. In us listening, there will be 4 parts, 4 sections, 40 questions, 40 marks. Okay, and question part one on social context, and there will be 2 speakers talking on a social context and talking on a social context. In part two, is also on the social context, but there will be 1 speaker. In part three is an academic context. There will be 3 or 4 speakers talking on academic context, and the section 4 is also an academic context, but there will be on the 1 speaker talking on that. And so let's practice some of the parts of listening test so that you can understand. Okay. Do you have pen and paper with you, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
শোনো, তোমরা যেটা করবো সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমি যে ফাইলটা শেয়ার করবো সেটা যদি তোমাদের কাছে দেখতে ছোট মনে হয়, তোমাদের মোবাইল স্ক্রিনটা জুম করো, তাহলে দেখবা যে ইয়েস কামিং, তাহলে দেখবা যে এটা বড় দেখবে। হ্যাঁ,
জি স্যার।
হেডফোন লাগলে আমরা বলতে হেডফোন Okay, wait.
Both of them. It's not the fourth. তুই হেডফোন কানে এখানে লাগিয়ে দিলি প্লিজ
আমার হেডফোনে ইয়া নাই রে ভাই, এই কেসিং এর সাথে হেডফোনের সেটআপই নাই।
ওই মনিটরের সাথে তো আছে।
মনিটরের সাথে কই?
যেটাই
মনিটরের সাথে আছে কিনা তুমি কেমন জানো? দেখো কি যে থাকলে তো ওয়ালি কইতে।
সে বলবে যে আমার কথা বিশ্বাস করবে যে আপনার
তোমাকে বিশ্বাস না করলে কি ডাবল চাকরি করতে হবে?
Yes, sir, দেখা যায়। জি স্যার, দেখা যায়।
জি স্যার, দেখা যায়।
আগে চেক করো, মানে আমি অডিওটা চালাইতেছি, আগে চেক করো যে অডিও সাউন্ডটা ক্লিয়ার। ওকে?
Well, it can't be Tuesday with the English tests taking place.
Ah, right. Not Tuesday, but Wednesday.
That's right, all day Wednesday, taking a bus outside the city.
Is the sound clear?
জি স্যার, এটা অনেক বেশি ক্লিয়ার। জি স্যার,
Yes,
অনেক
sir.
বেশি।
Okay. So the first part, there will be question in the first part 1 to 7. And in first part, question 1 to 6, complete the notes. Always read the instruction carefully. Complete the notes, write no more than 3 words or a number. So you have to write no more than 3 words or a number. So sometimes there will be or and a number. So you can write both the words and number, or sometimes only words or a number. Okay. So no more than 3 words. So first you have to listen to the audio and answer to question 1 to 6. Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, got it.
Hello. Yes. এই তুবা মনে হয় এখনো ঘুমাচ্ছে।
আপনি বুঝতে থেকে হেডফোনটা জিজ্ঞাসা করছি তো ওয়েল স্পিকার after headphone the vibe
Okay. So listen to the audio first, then answer the question. আরেকটা কথা বলি, সেটা হচ্ছে যে এটা কিন্তু সবার লিখতে হবে খাতায়। আমি কিন্তু কিছুক্ষণ পরে বিএলসি তে পোস্ট দিব, খাতার ছবি তুলে সাবমিট করতে হবে। বুঝতে পারছো কিনা?
ইয়েস স্যার, বুঝতে পারছি।
জি, ধন্যবাদ।
স্যার পরোটা টেস্ট কই করে কতক্ষণ লাগে আর কত টাকা লাগে?
Section 1. You will hear 2 teachers, Andrew and Katie, discussing the coming excursion of their language class. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Well, we have this school excursion plan, but when exactly is it? Is it this Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, it can't be Tuesday with the English tests taking place.
Ah, right. Not Tuesday, but Wednesday.
That's right, all day Wednesday, taking a bus outside the city.
The excursion is on Wednesday, so Wednesday has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Well, we have this school excursion plan, but when exactly is it? Is it this Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, it can't be Tuesday with the English tests taking place.
Ah, right. Not Tuesday, but Wednesday.
That's right, all day Wednesday, taking a bus outside the city.
And where are we going?
Last month we went to Arthur Island, so this time we're going to the animal park.
Arthur Island was okay, but it was too cold. Let's hope the weather for this week's excursion is better. I don't suppose animals care about bad weather, but I certainly do. Have you heard the forecast?
Yes, and it's not too bad. Basically, they're saying Monday will be sunny,
Good.
but then the weather will change.
Not so good.
Yes, Tuesday we'll have some showers, but by Wednesday, the day of our excursion, it will be, well, their words are cold and cloudy.
Cold and cloudy. Well, as long as it isn't wet and rainy, I'm happy enough. We won't need umbrellas, just warm clothing. And what time will we get there?
Let's see, the bus picks us up at 8:30 a.m. and then it's an hour and a half on the road, so we arrive at 10 a.m. Sorry, with the 15-minute break, that will actually be 10:15 a.m.
That's early enough. Then all our students can see the animals, have their fun, and do whatever they want to do.
Well, one fun event planned that day is Birds of Prey.
What's that?
That's when they bring out several birds of prey, eagles, falcons, kites, those sorts of birds, and throw pieces of meat into the air, and the birds swoop down and eat them. It's quite impressive.
Sounds great. Birds of prey. Are there any other activities?
There's a catered lunch at the park restaurant. We've already paid for that. And in the afternoon there's... Well, I had a choice between the reptile display and the koala handling. In the reptile display, the students can handle live pythons and various other snakes.
Surely they'd rather hold koalas.
I'm sure, but the koalas can't be handled unless the weather's sunny, and given the forecast, I thought it better to choose the reptile display.
That's a shame. These Asian students would love the koala handling.
Yes, I know, but we can't control the weather.
And then we get back. What time will that be?
We leave the park at 4:30, but then we face traffic, so we won't get back until well after 6 p.m. It will most likely be 6:30, but that's better than the last trip. We didn't get home until 8:30 that time.
Yes, that was a bit too late, wasn't it?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Okay. So, তোমরা যে আনসার গুলো লিখেছো, ফর এক্সাম্পল ধরো আমি এখানে লিখলাম, তোমাদের বলেছি যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে সবার কি করতে হবে, ক্যাপিটাল লেটারে লিখতে হবে। ওকে, ক্যাপিটাল লেটারে লিখতে হবে। এখন দেখো যে আমি যখন আনসার গুলো তোমাদের শো করবো তখন দেখবো যে কি কি কারণে ভুল হয়, এই জিনিসটা দেখবো। ঠিক আছে, সবাই লিখছো, আনসার লিখছো?
জি স্যার।
জি স্যার লিখছি।
জি স্যার, স্যার দুটো লিখতে পারিনি।
আচ্ছা, সমস্যা নেই। তাহলে দেখো প্রথমটা দেখো, উত্তর ছিল অ্যানিমাল পার্ক। এই যে ব্র্যাকেটে যেটা দেখছো সেটা হচ্ছে লিখলেও হয় না লিখলেও হয়। তো অ্যানিমাল পার্ক আমি বানানটা ভুল লিখছি, যে কারণে আমি আনসারটা শোনার পরে, সঠিক শোনার পরেও এটা কি ভুল দেখাচ্ছে। ঠিক আছে, অতএব কারেক্ট স্পেলিং ইজ সো ইম্পর্টেন্ট। বুঝছো কিনা? তারপরে দেখো কোল্ড অ্যান্ড ক্লাউডি, তুমি এটা যদি পুরোটা ব্লকে লেখো, তুমি কি পুরোটা যদি ক্যাপিটালে লেখো তো অবশ্যই বানান ঠিকঠাক মতো তোমাকে লিখতে হবে। তারপরে হচ্ছে 10:15 AM, মানে তুমি যদি পুরোটা ইয়েতে লেখো, ক্যাপিটালে লেখো, তাহলে তোমার ক্যাপিটালাইজেশনের কোনো ঝামেলা। 4 নম্বর যদি দেখো বার্ডস অফ প্রে, এখানে বার্ডস অফ প্রে, বার্ডস এর জায়গায় তুমি যদি এসটা না লেখো তাহলে কিন্তু ভুল আনসার। তারপর 5 নম্বর হচ্ছে রেপটাইল ডিসপ্লে, এখানে দা তুমি লিখলেও হবে না লিখলেও হবে। ছয়টা হচ্ছে 6 p। ওকে, বুঝছো কিনা?
জি স্যার, বুঝতে পারছি
জি
স্যার।
স্যার, বুঝতে পারছি।
তাহলে আমরা বাকি পার্টটা আবার শুনি।
Section 1. You will hear two.
But that's better than the last trip. We didn't get home until
এটা দেখা যায়
যাই স্যার।
মোবাইলের উপর জুম করে দেখবা যে বড়
জি,
হয়েছে।
স্যার।
তাহলে আমরা question number 7 to 10 complete the table, write one word only. এক ওয়ার্ডের বেশি লেখা যাবে না। Okay?
leave the park at 4:30, but then we face traffic, so we won't get back until well after 6 p.m. It will most likely be 6:30, but that's better than the
যখন
last trip.
তোমাকে কোশ্চেন
We didn't
দেখার
get
জন্য
home
সময়
until
দিবে,
8:30 that
অবশ্যই
time.
স্ক্রিন দেখার সময় দিবে। এই সময়টা তোমাকে কোশ্চেন দেখতে হবে এবং কোশ্চেন লিসেনিং শোনার আগে, অডিও শোনার আগে কোশ্চেন দেখাটা খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট।
Yes, that was a bit too late, wasn't it?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions
part
7
two.
to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Andrew, I understand you've been doing some research regarding the breakdown by nationality of our student body. That must have produced some interesting results.
You're right. I got some statistics from head office.
I would imagine that most of our students are either Japanese or Chinese.
You imagine right. But it's the Chinese who constitute the majority. But only just. I had thought Koreans might be second, but it's actually the Japanese, quite close behind. It's somewhat surprising, but obviously all those study tours that our university markets in Japan are bringing in students.
What's the breakdown exactly?
Japanese are a quarter of the whole, which is considerable. Last year they were only 16%, so that market has grown nicely. The only other proportions of some weight are the Indonesians and Koreans, about the same. Indonesians at 15% and the Koreans are a little higher, not like last year when they were less than 10%.
I thought we'd have more Indonesians than Koreans.
Well, as I said, they're about the same. Just like the Saudi and Thai student numbers, almost the same also, both just under 10.
Which one is bigger?
Thai students number just a fraction more. As for the other nationalities, collectively they're only 3%, so it wasn't worth giving each of them a separate category. I just grouped them under other. That's Vietnamese, South American, a couple of Russians, and so on.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
ম্যাডাম বলেন।
Now turn to section.
So listen to the
Couple of
audio.
Russians, and so on.
That
Thai students number just a fraction more. As for the other nationalities, also, both just under 10.
Which one is bigger?
Thai students number just a fraction more. As for the other nationalities, collectively they're only 3%, so it wasn't worth giving each of them a separate category. I just grouped them under other. That's Vietnamese, South American, a couple of Russians, and so on.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay. So now you have some. Look at question 11 to 15. Okay. So now answer question 11 to 15 and listen to the audio carefully. Japna speaker of word.
Now turn to section 2. You will hear a representative from Easy Travel Travel Agency explaining to some customers the benefits of her company. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello, everyone. Now, you're here because you're interested in travel, right? And you're in the right place. For Easy Travel, we have the best deals for the best locations. We specialize in eco-travel, or holidays designed to get you amongst nature, ignoring the hustle and bustle of big cities. So whether you want to hike in Nepal, as many people do, or follow some jungle paths in the rainforests of Queensland, we can give you the best deal. If you look at our office here, you'll see our overseas consultants. That's for trips overseas, obviously, to Europe, to North America, but primarily for the Asian market, which is generally more popular in this part of the world. Most people like that touch of the Orient, right? But they also like the domestic market, since this country offers its fair share of beautiful natural vistas. What about the deserts, anyone? What about some striking red rock gorges? Then talk to our domestic consultants who can arrange anything you want. But they deal with the accounts in the morning, so you'll need to talk to them in the afternoon. And remember, our office doesn't open at night, sorry to say. Now, around the outskirts and outer regions of this city, there are many beautiful places that you might not be aware of, and the advantages of these regional locations are many. Mostly by being closer, some of them can be done in a day tour. Yes, it's fast and convenient with none of those long-haul bus trips, which often leave you cramped and uncomfortable and stuffing heavy suitcases into luggage racks. But I should tell you about our buses, those that are needed for the somewhat more distant holiday destinations. They definitely do not suffer from those problems I just mentioned. We use the services of the famous Sleek Line Company, whose buses are known as the very best. Yes, they are big, yes, they are comfortable, but what makes them especially different is the personal attendant who accompanies the driver, ready and willing to serve you and ensure that your trip is the very best. So whether it's overseas or local, we can certainly give you what you want. Now, do you have any questions?
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Right.
স্যার আপনি কি কিছু বলতেছেন?
তাহলে তুমি যদি এখানে দেখো যে এটা যদি খেয়াল করে দেখো তাহলে দেখবা যে এটা একটা নকশা দেওয়া আছে। নকশা মানে তোমার ধরো একটা প্লটের আমাদের যেমন রুম থাকে না, যেমন নকশা, এটা নকশা দেওয়া আছে। এ একটা ধরো রুম, বি একটা রুম, সি একটা রুম, কোথায় কি আছে সেটা এখানে দেওয়া আছে, এই পুরো একটা প্লট। সো এখানে দেখো আইডেন্টিফাই দ্য রুমস ইন দ্য অফিস প্ল্যান। একটা অফিসের ধরো নকশা, এটা তোমাকে ইউ হ্যাভ টু আইডেন্টিফাই কোন রুমে কোনটা আছে। ওকে, সো এখানে তুমি যদি এখানে ক্লিক করো বা ইয়ে করো তাহলে তোমার ধরো এখানে জাস্ট শুধু আসবে, এখানে জাস্ট শুধু নাম্বারটা দিলেই হবে। ফর এক্সাম্পল ধরো লোকাল টুলস এটা হচ্ছে ইটি, তুমি এখানে ক্লিক করে জাস্ট ই দিলেই হয়ে যাবে। মানে তোমাকে ABCD লিখতে হবে কোথায় কি, এটা শোনার পর। ওকে, সো রিমেম্বার তোমাকে যেখানে বলবে যে এন্ট্রেন্স, তোমাকে প্রত্যেকটা আনসার করার পরে ওই এন্ট্রেন্স বরাবরই আসতে হবে এবং সেই অনুযায়ী তোমাকে বুঝতে হবে। ওকে, তাহলে
Planes, In the former case, utilising the Sleek Line bus service, as you know. And finally, next to her in the corner is General Inquiries, which is self-explanatory. If you have questions of a general nature, rather than one relating to specific destinations, you can go there. Now, as I said, we can do international tours, and for that you need our big office, just through that door, the one between those two plants. However, if your international tour is in the Asian region, which is generally our most popular option, then we deal with that in a separate room, the one opposite international tours, but not the corner one. Just go through that door on the left, the one next to that cupboard. The door next to that is, in fact, our general office, so please don't go through there. That's reserved for staff members only.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 3.
Please begin the schedule for us.
Okay, wait a minute, please. যদি try করে দেখি। না আমি প্র্যাকটিস করে দিচ্ছি।
এয়ারপোর্ট লাগে। হ্যালো হ্যালো, এই কথা কি শোনা?
জি স্যার।
ঠিক আছে, দাঁড়াও। ওকে, তাহলে কি আনসার লিখছো?
স্যার।
হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ, আনসার কি লিখেছো? পার্ট 2 এ
স্যার দুটো বাকি আছে।
মানে এটা কি
স্যার এই পার্টটা অনেক টাফ মনে হচ্ছে। জি স্যার।
তাহলে আবার শুনে আবার লেখো দেখি, আবার 16 থেকে 20। ওকে,
আচ্ছা স্যার।
Nations. They definitely do not suffer from those problems. Those that are needed for the somewhat more distant holiday tracks. But I should tell you about convenient with none of those long-haul bus trips. Mostly by being closer, some of them can be done in a day tour. Yes, it's fast and convenient with none of those long-haul bus trips, which often leave you cramped and uncomfortable and stuffing heavy hour buses. Those that are neededly do not suffer from the Sleek Line companies. They are comfortable, but what makes them ready and willing to serve you and ensure that you'll give you what you want. Now, do you have any questions?
16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Right, let me orient you to our main easy travel office here. On this table right beside us are travel magazines for you to browse through, and on the wall next to that are many more for all parts of the world. Our 4 travel consultants sit over there on the other side of that long counter. That's right, 4 of them, side by